The night was warm and silent, and Gabriel was restless and unable to sleep from a long day. He tossed and twisted, ultimately looking at his watch when he'd given up all hope of sleeping. He peered out his window, where the full moon lighted up the area on this hot summer night. His cat and dog were sleeping comfortably near his feet. He turned his head. As he gazed out the window, he was awestruck. He couldn't believe what he was seeing in the night sky. An aurora borealis was visible above, with brilliant pinks, greens, and blues lighting up the sky like a dazzling fireworks display. He was amazed, almost as if its mysterious glow was inviting him. The enchantment was eventually broken, and he sat up in bed, wide awake, with an idea formulating in his head. He sneaked out of bed, put on his shoes, grabbed his jacket, and crept out the bedroom window. He wanted to go for a walk around the local pond, to try to grasp the tranquility of the moment and forget about his uneasiness. He had constructed a homemade ladder out of blankets and rope, allowing him to travel down with little effort. The thrill of adventure sent shivers down his spine as he walked down the ladder from his roof. The newly mowed grass glistened in the moonlight through his open rear gate. He stepped into the darkness of the park that surrounded his house, taking a deep breath of the night air. The full moon barely illuminated the route. The silhouettes of the enormous trees surrounding him were difficult to tell apart. As he walked, the atmosphere appeared to buzz with an energetic silence. He'd been here before, but something seemed different tonight. He walked around the pond's trail, directed solely by the seductive light of the aurora borealis above him, and he was overcome with a sense of serenity and happiness. The stars above him became brighter. The air appeared to come to life as frogs and bugs croaked in unison and fireflies swirled around him. He was fully at peace, in tune with nature. He was instantly overcome by a sensation of adventure and freedom. As he walked past the park's lamppost, he grinned and raised his arms in reverence of this magnificent moment, feeling a connection to nature all around him. He cautiously walked up to the pond, but this time he had a different connection to it. It appeared to be alive and calm. A pleasant breeze blew through the air, and he observed a glimmer in the woods nearby. The world had suddenly gone sleeping, and the stars and Milky Way were clearly visible. His feet led him closer and closer towards this light in the woods. He approached the forest trail, the long moist grasses touching his ankles as he walked, when he felt a sudden rush of wind. He drew his jacket closer and tighter over him. He took a deep breath, feeling both anxiety and exhilaration at the anticipation of what lied ahead. He allowed his feet to lead him farther and deeper into the path. His light running sneakers making no noise. With each step, he felt further away from the security of modern-day existence and closer to the mysterious unknown. He wasn't sure how long he'd been traveling, but peculiar sensations were creeping up on him. He swore he could feel eyes on him, peering into his every move. He wasn't sure whether it was an animal or a human. He shivered slightly and continued on, allowing his feet to guide him deeper and deeper into the path. As he got closer, he noticed a bright white butterfly fluttering around him, as if it had been delivered directly from the stars. Gabriel felt a peculiar peace overtake him. He was awestruck by the butterfly and found himself frozen in time as the magnificent insect soared around him. He felt connected to the planet, the stars, and the night sky above him. He persisted in moving forward, letting his instincts guide him and ignoring any chance of turning around. He felt an uncanny feeling of mystery as night fell even deeper, and an odd desire to continue carrying himself forward. His immediate surroundings changed as the trees got denser. Every step he took from this point on was thrilling and adventurous, and he noticed a peculiar sensation take over him. The frantic beating of his heart in front of him. In the near distance, he noticed a clearing that was illuminated by a wonderful shimmer. As more delicate white butterflies swirled all around him, their wings gently brushed against his skin as he instinctively drew steadily closer with their help and soothing influence. He was led a little more further until he came out of the shadows into the clearing, lit by lanterns and sparkling lights. A big wooden pirate ship that was lit from within was sitting in the middle. It was beautiful. He was speechless as he stood there, taking it all in. He had no idea who the ship belonged to, or what it was doing in the middle of the forest. He gazed at his watch, and it was just past 2 a.m. He suddenly heard thunder rumbling in the near distance. He noticed that the sky had nearly turned dark when he looked up. Large raindrops began to fall on his face as lightning blazed across the sky. He pulled the hood of his coat up, put his hands in his pockets, and then he began to run back towards his home. Eyes wide and darting, he trembled, squinting to find the way back to his house. The familiar streets he recognized, however, were nowhere to be seen. He had strayed too far. He became increasingly aware of the approaching storm. As a supercell gathered right under him, over the woods. More thunderclouds clouded the gloomy sky. He knew he needed to find cover quickly. However, despite the high level of uncertainty, the prospect of finally finding a warm and safe atmosphere was too appealing to refuse. He ran toward the ship while firmly grasping the material of his hood. The young man ran into the ship and shut the door tightly behind him as lightning lit up the night sky. Even though his body was trembling, he was dry and yet alive. He allowed himself a little moment of relaxation as he stood there on the ship's deck, listening to the storm outside created a symphony of noise. He had arrived unharmed. He was aware there might still be danger, but he also understood that he had to keep calm if he wanted to survive long enough to return home. The entire ship rocked when close lightning struck. When Gabriel looked up, he saw a big wooden door flying open from the power of the lightning. The door had suddenly opened, which shocked him. He took a step forward, not knowing what to anticipate. But what he discovered inside was a sight to behold. He found a welcoming lodge with a warm fire, providing the cabin a cozy feel that made him feel so safe and warm. A large stone fireplace near the entrance blazed with a roaring fire, offering a spot to curl up and unwind. Couches were elegantly on both sides of the fireplace, allowing one to relax and take in the tranquility of this cottage. A calming ambience was created by 2 pirate ship lamps that were placed on the fireplace mantel. A large, silky red rug added further life to the space. Gabriel explored the cabin, coming across a few surprises. A lavish kitchen with all the necessary appliances and baked goods could be found in one corner, with a large, beautiful window. Freshly prepared pies and pastries adorned the edge of the counter. He bit down because he couldn't resist. It was delicious. The large open-spaced living room had a big window on the sides, offering a breathtaking view of the landscape. Despite the terrifying darkness, rain and powerful wind outside caused by the supercell storm, the cabin was serene and pleasant within. Gabriel had the impression that he was actually in another universe. In the cozy cabin's window, he watched the supercell storm dominate the night sky. The wind howled in return as it swept up leaves and branches into a frenzied dance. And the rain pounded fiercely on the cabin's wooden walls. The interior of the cabin was surprisingly calm, despite the terrible darkness outside. Stormy nights like this one have always amazed Gabriel. He couldn't help but have an odd sense of tranquility as he observed the storm roar outside his cabin window. It was as though the ferocious wind outside washed all of his problems, concerns, and fears away. He experienced a peculiar sense of connection to the strength of the storm raging outside, yet being inside was safe and snug in his shelter. He marveled as a flash of lightning lit up the night sky before more darkness descended and was chased away by another flash of lightning. The rhythmic beat of the raindrops against the cabin's walls felt comforting and echoed far away into the woods. He was enthralled by the beauty of the storm as he relaxed on the couch. The storm produced an odd tranquility out of this chaos. One of the luminous butterflies suddenly appeared and flew towards a door near the kitchen, almost beckoning him to come closer. To a door that needed to be opened, though he hadn't noticed it before. He took a step closer and saw that he could just barely make out the outline of a door. He cautiously opened the door, and something even more unexpected occurred. Upon entering, he was astounded by the magnificence that lay before him. A luxury train cabin layout. The room's high ceilings, nighttime sky viewing windows, moonroof, and leather chairs all had an otherworldly feel to it. He had the impression that he had left the outside world behind and entered a whole new one. He had the feeling that he was traveling across time and space, thanks to the plush velvet couch. He looked about the space, admiring the exquisite design and plush comfort of the lodging. The hand-carved wooden mirror frames and the crystal wine glasses caught his attention. Soon he reached the deck that overlooked a breathtaking and scary view of the supercell storm, rain, and lightning. As he went onto the deck, his heart was racing and his breath seized in his lungs. The night sky was a mixture of dark blues and pinks. He couldn't take his eyes off the sky as the violent thunderstorm covered it with shards of light. When he raised his wrist to check the time, he was horrified to see it was 3:33 a.m. Gabriel needed to return home immediately. His eyes were split between the storm raging. He felt the powerful wind pulling at him as he held onto the handrail, but fell on the deck floor. He quickly crawled back into the luxury cabin and slammed the door with his foot back to safety. Out of nowhere, a book fell from the shelf, barely slamming his head. Shocked, he opened the book that had no title. The words appeared to have been scribbled on the pages just moments ago. He fixed his attention on a golden note concealed between two pages. Gabriel became speechless as he read the words. This secret is something that will change your life forever. Though he had heard tales of secret knowledge, he had never made an effort to find it for himself. There was a mystery in front of him right now that might have the ability to alter his entire universe. He continued, "You have a choice. You could either decide to embrace the secrets contained in this book, or you can choose to disregard it all and walk away." He hesitated, considering simply walking away and ignore seeing the note. However, his curiosity got the better of him, and he chose to go ahead. Gabriel started reading the pages slowly, but with each page, his eyes grew larger, more than he could have ever anticipated. He was being shown mysteries and paranormal occurrences, strong forces and leaders from the past, as well as tales of heroes who made history and will never be forgotten, as well as the origins of the ship. A once-in-a-lifetime chance presented itself to Gabriel, giving him the choice of accepting the information and maybe altering the course of history, or ignoring it and continuing with his life. Re-examining the note, he realized he had to come to terms with the secret written between its pages, as nothing else made sense this night, and how he got here He immediately felt a strong feeling overtake him that he had been selected. He was just a regular guy, yet he was picked for a special opportunity. He struggled to comprehend why he had been chosen, or how he was meant to use the knowledge properly. Yet here he was, with this incredible opportunity, despite the fact that he believed he had nothing unique or skills to offer. The weight of it all was on his shoulders, and the thought that he might be the only one to genuinely change the world was both thrilling and scary. The pirate ship suddenly came to life and started to sparkle as Gabriel gasped. The surrounding woods were well lit by light coming from underneath. The pirate ship soon blasted off and began to rise slowly up through the air, as if it were a magical creature. He was so shocked as he saw the ship ascend higher and higher towards the dark storm above. He was unable to contain his fear. He shuddered as he stared up through the moonroof window of the cabin. Nothing and no one could stop the mystery ship from being enticed into the storm's grasp. The sky was illuminated by a lightning strike, and a loud thunderclap shook the ship. As he watched the eerie spectacle play out, Gabriel's heart was racing, both adrenaline and fear, as he watched his fate from his back on the cabin's floor, looking straight into the darkness that awaited him. The pirate ship continued to travel up, coming closer and closer, the ship shaking and rattling. He wasn't sure whether he'd ever see the light of day or his dog and cat again. He screamed at God to help him. He continued to stare in disbelief as the storm roared and enveloped the ship into darkness. His heart was filled with unexplainable emotion, shades of amazement, terror, and grief. He felt his body start to tremble and shake. He firmly grabbed the legs of the seats, yelling for God one last time in utter panic of what just happened and what would come next.